So we'll begin with summary task 1, where you'll plan the mission by creating and setting up the GIS project, creating your geodatabase schema, and publishing your web layer. We'll start on Windows Desktop, where you'll open up ArcGIS Pro to create an ArcGIS Pro project. In the splash screen, I'm going to click on a new blank map template. And in the Create a New Project window, I'm going to browse to the location where I'm going to store my project. In my case, it's going to be in the Course folder. Under Projects, and click OK. And then I'm going to name my project tree_survey. I'm going to go ahead and leave the Create a New Folder for this project option enabled and click OK. Of course, that creates my new ArcGIS Pro project. I'm going to go ahead and maximize ArcGIS Pro. And then I want to set up the properties for my map view. So I'm going to right click on my map view in the contents pane and select properties. And in the general, I'm going to rename my map. I'm going to call it tree_survey_your_name. And then on the metadata section, I'm going to title it the same, tree_survey_your_name, where your_name is actually your name. The tags I'm going to use for this project are ACC, GIS, Austin, tree, survey. And then my summary for this project is tree survey for my AOI. And that's all I'm going to enter in. You can enter in the description and the credits as well. Go ahead and click OK. Now that we've entered in the metadata, we're ready to create our project geodatabase. And so from the View ribbon, I'm going to make sure the Catalog pane is open. And then in the Catalog pane, I'm going to go to the Databases section and expand it. And there's my tree survey project file geodatabase. It's empty right now, but if I right-click and go to New and Feature Class, that opens the Create Feature Class Geoprocessing wizard. I'm going to name my feature class Trees. And of course, the feature class type, we're going to set that to a point geometry. And then uncheck the Z values for geometric properties. And then click Next to advance the wizard. Now we're going to create the field names for the project. And so I'm going to click here to add a new field. And my first field name is going to be type, all uppercase. And I'm going to set that to short integer. And then my next field is size. And that's going to be a text field. But the default width or length is 255, and I want to reset the length just to 1. The next field we'll call health, and that's going to be a short integer field. And then the last field is notes, and that's going to be a text field, and we'll leave the length set at the default of 255. So those are all my fields. Make sure you have them set right before you advance the wizard, and then click Next to advance the wizard and set the coordinate system. Right now, the coordinate system is set on WGS 1984 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere, which is the Google coordinate system. I'm going to drill down under Geographic Coordinate Systems, under World, and select one of the most generic spherical coordinate systems that we used, WGS 1984. It's a geographic coordinate system. And if you can't drill down and find it, you can just enter in the unique WKID 4326 and click enter, and that will find WGS 1984 geographic coordinate system. Go ahead and click finish to create your feature class in your file geodatabase. All right, so now if you look in the catalog pane in the tree survey project file geodatabase, you can see your trees point feature class, and in the contents pane, you can see it listed as your trees point feature layer. Now we want to restrict the values of some of the fields that we created in our trees point feature class, and we do that by creating the domains at the geodatabase level and then assigning them to the field level. So we'll start over in catalog by right-clicking the project file geodatabase and selecting domains. That opens up the domains view, and we just click into the first cell to enter in our domain name, and the first domain that we're going to create is health, and that's going to be the tree health from 1 for poor to 10 for good. And the health field is a short integer, so we need to create the attribute domain to be the same field type. And the domain type is going to be a range domain because we want to restrict the values to a minimum and a maximum value. And the minimum value is going to be 1, and the maximum value is going to be 10. So we've created the domain, but we need to save it first. You can see it's got that little green symbol. And on the domains ribbon, if we click the save button, then that commits the domain to the geodatabase. Now the next domain is a size domain, and I'm going to see if you can create it by yourself. So refer to the statement of work, and I'm going to advance the video. So there I've created the size domain with my small, medium, and large codes. And then now I'm going to add my final domain, which is going to be my type domain. And that is deciduous, which means the trees drop their foliage, or evergreen, which means the tree retains its foliage. And that is a short integer field type. It's going to be a coded value domain. And there's going to be 2 codes. 1 for deciduous, and 2 for evergreen. Again, when you make changes to your domains, it means you're changing the schema, and you need to save the changes to your schema. All right, so there I've created all 3 of my attribute domains at the geodatabase level. Now I need to assign them at the field level so they restrict the values for the field they're assigned to. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and close the domains view. And now I'm going to open up the attribute table for the trees point feature layer. And there you can see all of the system fields and then the user fields that I created when I created the trees point feature class. And before we assign the domains, I'm going to go ahead and create some additional system fields that are specific to data collection in the field. And so in the catalog pane, if I right click on the trees point feature class and go to manage, the first thing I want to do is add global IDs. And that allows me to upload the data to ArcGIS Online because ArcGIS Online requires global IDs. There you can see it added the global ID field. Now I'm going to right click the trees point feature class again, go to manage, and this time I'm going to enable editor tracking. And this will create some system fields that will allow me to track who has edited this feature class, including a created user, created date, last edited user, and last edited date. Last, I want to enable attachments. So I'm going to right click, select manage, and enable attachments. And that will allow me to take photos that I will attach to each record in my trees point feature class. So that opens the enable attachments geoprocessing tool. I'm going to set the input data set to trees and click run. And that's going to create a new table and relationship class in my Project Geo database. So if I refresh my Project Geo database, I'll see there is my new trees attachment standalone table where the images will be stored, and then each record with the image in the standalone table will be related to each point feature in the trees point feature class using the trees attach REL relationship class. All right, so now that we have set our feature class up for field collection, the last thing we want to do is assign our attribute domains, and we're going to go to the fields view for the trees point feature class. And then we need to locate the user created fields, including the type, size, and health, and we're going to assign the corresponding domain. So there's the type short integer field. I'm going to click in the domain field and select type. I'm going to do the same for the size field and assign size, and last for the health field, assign health. Now again, I've updated my schema. You can see the little green symbol there. So on the fields ribbon, I need to click on the save button to save the modifications to the table.